Welcome to the podcast, episode 2. Braun here. It's an honor.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, no. It's great. Thank you for coming on to the podcast. Thank you for everyone who watched the last podcast. It's great to see all the support and love, and this just makes me want to keep on doing videos,
I mean, that's great. I think it's always easier to push forward when you have people in your back,
Yeah, no, definitely. And you always want those types of people who support you and say, fuck it, whatever happens, I'm going to be here with you, right? I think you're one of those people.
Right, yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate having you as one of my friends here, and thank you for everything you've done and for coming to this podcast.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and I hope as this podcast progresses, we get to see you more and more.
I mean, whenever you want, I'm always available.
Yeah. Thank you. So, just to set the scene for this podcast, to remind you what this podcast is all about, the Pootscast, it's all about learning about the person across the table. Okay. I want to extract wisdom from you. I want to learn. The audience wants to learn. And I just want to see how you think, how you go through life. And, today I want to focus on how you are able to maintain a happy life, how you're able to maintain all those relationships you have and friendships while also performing in school, working out. And I really want to see what you can tell me about balancing the frat and everything.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I'm from Mexico City. Before I got to college, I used to run a company that did a lot of events. I think I learned a lot about that, and then additionally playing football when I was younger, and then trying to adapt myself to living alone when I got here to college. It's definitely been an interesting experience and a different way to adapt, and I think you learn how to balance your life. I think that's the most important thing I've learned throughout this year is knowing that you have to prioritize certain things at certain moments in time, but no one's perfect, and you need to be able to take everything in an exterior perspective and look forward to what you're doing at the moment, but also know that you're human. You can make mistakes, and you can still figure it out.
Yeah, 100%. One thing we were talking about as we were setting this up, I was putting the camera, I was setting up the mics, and it was kind of a headache, not going to lie. But he said, it won't be perfect. And that's kind of the beauty of life. It will never be perfect. And before we get into this, I just want to address something that a lot of people have asked me is why I started this podcast. And honestly, I just really like listening to podcasts. I've always wanted to be out there recording, laughing and shit. And to be honest, the real answer is why not? Why are you not going for something you want, right? I think that's the name of the game. I
think you have to push yourself. I feel like you're never going to have perfect conditions for anything.
Never.
This is a thing you learn in agriculture that when you're trying to plant a seed, it's never going to be perfect. And then there's this old saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the next best time is today. So I think if you wait for perfect conditions all your life, you're never going to do anything. So I think you did a big step of just taking this commitment, trying it out, trying to see if it works out, pushing forward. And I think I really appreciate that about you. Something I've learned over speaking to you for the last couple of months, getting to know you, that you take initiative, you'll go ahead and do it. And I think that's very respectable. I think if we sit around and wait for too long for things to be perfect, nothing's going to work out.
Yeah, and one thing I've learned this year is, as you said, trying to manage all that different priorities. But at the ground and the foundation of all of it and of success, I believe, is you have to lead with action. You want to learn how to plant trees, right? You want to learn how to be an agricultural guy. You can do a lot by reading it and reading books, textbooks, but you've actually started your own farm in your apartment, I know. So it's you have to lead with action.
I think the most important thing is realizing that if you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you. So
100%.
So the first time I really figured this one out was when I started this party entertainment business. I had spoken to a couple guys who had done it in the past and got some experience, but I think the day I learned the most was the day we had our first event. And if you look at, I think if I were to look back, the first party we did, it was around 1,000 guests. And then we did a party in the same venue, I think it was give or take 8 months later. Yeah. then I think the party turned out way better. But mainly just about, that's something we learned about experience. We were able to take down cost, roughly like $5,000 for that party.
Yeah.
We were able to have a much more smooth contact with authorities in that party. We were able to work better. But that was because one day I decided, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to try it. And and I fucked up.
Yeah.
Like everyone, it's going to inevitably happen.
Yeah.
You're not born knowing how to do anything.
Yeah, everybody's a beginner when they start. Everybody.
I mean, I think you if you look at things you right now you take for granted, let's say walking.
Yeah.
Right now you just walk everywhere you go. You take it as an ability of something, right?
Yeah.
But when you were little, there was not an option of you not learning to walk, so you started crawling and you fell. And then your parents weren't going to help you, and then you kept on doing it. You kept on doing it, and one day you were able to stand. And then you weren't able to give a step, and then you were able to give that first step. And now you see it as something that, oh, it's second nature. Yeah. But you had to push yourself to start doing it. And I think that's something we fear as we're growing up, that we're scared of being incorrect. Yeah. I think being incorrect is one of the most beautiful things in life because you're able to learn from it. I think if everything turned out perfectly or the way you wanted it, you wouldn't have the character or the human you become 100%. Eventually.
100%. And I loved what the specific example you gave about walking because I broke my foot in December and it was honestly super eye-opening because something I took for granted, which was walking to classes every day, walking to my exams, it had to be in crutches, and it was a real pain, and that really, I had to push through, but I also love what you said, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody cares more about yourself than you will.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. I think us as humans, we tend to prioritize what other people think about us, or what is the guy next to me doing, or how did he do in the test. So this is a story I told my parents where they came to visit, and I still feel like it's the biggest thing I've learned from college.
Tell me.
So at the beginning of the year, I wasn't doing great in math, and I think I pulled a 44 in an exam. It was a terrible thing. Yeah. Right, I studied up, worked for exam 2, and I got a 56. Another grade that you wouldn't be proud to
proud of.
You're not proud. You're boasting about it. And I remember talking to your roommate about it. He was like, "Oh, you have to lock in. That's not good enough." And then at the same time, the only thing I could get was thinking, "Okay, I worked on myself. I studied more, and I improved." At the end of the day, it might have not been a huge improvement. It might have not been a life-saving grade. At the end of the day, I passed the class, which was, in my perspective, the thing that most mattered. But I think we forget that we're not competing against our peers. At the end of the day, the most important competition is that you have is you against yourself, trying to figure out steps forward you can take to become a better human. And then I think that if we look at other people, jealousy is a natural thing. Yeah. You're always going to be jealous of the guy next to you. He has this, he's able to do that. And I'm sure the guy next to you that's looking at you being jealous about all these things is probably jealous about something that you have.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing you could do in life is focus on your own perspective and not really worry about what other people will think about you.
Yeah, no, it's all in the mind. It's you against you. I mean, if you're overweight and you want to lose weight, nobody's going to wake you up, pick you out of bed, say, work out. Nobody. It's you. It's only you against you, and you need to believe that you are able to do that shit because you're the only person who's going to get you out of bed, right? Nobody cares more about yourself than you have to care about yourself.
I agree 100% with that. I was listening to a podcast recently. I don't remember who said this, but he said this idea about going back to the weight example. So people think they're going to lose all this weight and they're going to be more self-confident. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't think you become more self-confident because you're skinnier. If it was from one day to another one, you'd be the same human being. I think what really pushes you to be better is you had the discipline for that amount of time, for those months, weeks, whatever it was, to be able to stand up and be like, okay, I'm going to drag my ass down to the gym. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna cook for myself. I'm gonna work on my habits.
I'm not going to drink.
I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna do all this and that. Or if I want to drink, I'm gonna try to work in some cardio so I can be able to afford those calories and whatever you're doing, right? And then by the time you get to your goal, the thing that built your confidence wasn't the fact that you're now, let's say, 30 pounds skinnier. Yeah. The thing that really helped you was having this discipline, going out after it every day, pushing yourself forward to do it. Because no one helped you doing it. I think there's a certain novelty about this. you mentioned it last podcast, instant gratification.
Yeah.
I think nowadays we're seeing all these dopamine rushes and we want to do everything super quickly.
Yeah.
And we forget that not everything is instant.
Yeah, no, and it's that example you gave about losing weight. It's like, of course, nobody's coming to save you, and I loved what you said about the confidence you build after losing the weight. It's not the 30 pounds you got off your body. It's you showed up. Nobody fucking did it for you. It's like nobody's coming to save you, and once you realize that, that's when you actually become the person you want to be. Because if you don't do it, no one else will.
I agree.
No one else will. And it's the hard part about that journey about losing the weight is like in that middle. I talked about it last podcast, but it's like in that middle, you wake up, you go to the gym, you eat well, sleep, wake up, nothing changed, and it's like do it again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, do it.
Yeah, it's hard when you don't see the progress instantly, right? It's like you bomb this exam, and then the very next thing you want to do, okay, I want to take another one. I want to feel that I'm better than what I did, but I haven't worked for it. I haven't put myself forward. So I think one of the biggest problems, at least for me at the beginning, and it still happens to everyone, is understanding that nothing is instant.
Yeah.
So if it's easy to get, it's probably not worth it. It's probably not going to fulfill you for a long time.
And I think one thing I've learned, just to add on to that, is everything worth doing is hard. Not everything hard is worth doing.
I agree. I think also going back to it, you have to understand what you want to focus on.
Yeah.
I think that's something that especially being young, you don't really focus on the right things.
Yeah.
Or you want to value things that you don't actually care about in the moment.
Yeah. And I guess that's one thing I've also struggled with is I want to do a lot of things. And the reality is if you have so many goals, you're not going to achieve any, right?
I mean, yeah, you can't be everywhere and everything all at once.
I love this quote I listened to, it, which was, you can be anything but not everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty deep hitting quote, but it makes sense,
I mean, it's like we're young right now, and I truly believe like me and you, like we can do anything we set our minds to, right? But it's like as soon as you go into open one door, another door closes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you're focusing on one thing, it's easier to target it and go forward, and when you're looking at many things, it's hard to cover them all. But I think there's a limit, right?
Yeah.
I think it was the Netflix CEO that said that his biggest accomplishment was not building all these Fortune 500 companies that did super successfully, was that he was able to do it and still have a balanced life where he could see his kids grow up. Wow. He could show up to a soccer game on a random Wednesday.
No, that's super important, honestly.
So I think we have to focus not only on a certain goal, but also focus on our life while we're doing it. I think we have these desires in life where we're just pushing forward and we want to do, let's say I want to be an astronaut, and all I'm doing is training, math, whatever, and I'm forgetting to do other aspects of my life. At the end of the day, I'm going to make it to that goal, and what am I going to have to show for it? Yeah. So I think you also have to focus on other areas of your life when you're working towards yourself, to not let yourself be held back in other areas, because eventually, if you're just working on one thing, other aspects of your life are going to fail. Yeah. And then the goal you work towards is not going to be worth it.
It's going to catch up to you eventually.
I agree.
And I love what you said. It's like, it's really important to have this direction and something to be working towards. But it's like, if you're not enjoying the journey's your life, man. I mean, you get to a goal. It's like you have a goal 20 years out. You get there and you realize, like, I worked hard for it. I struggled. I mean, it's going to be hard. Everything is, as I said, everything worth doing is going to be hard. And there's no secret. You just need to do it again and struggle. But at the same time, it's like, enjoy the journey. And that's something I've learned from you. I can honestly say it's like, yeah, be disciplined, be consistent, work towards your aspirations and goals, but also enjoy the journey. Give yourself some time to reflect, to actually be present in the moment. I mean, how do you manage to like be present and enjoy life while also balancing all of that?
So I think when I was younger, this is definitely something I learned in high school, was I was hyper focused on a lot of things, but then I lacked in a lot of areas of my life, right? So I remember when I was little, I was really bullied because I was fat.
Yeah.
I guess going fat is going back to everything. But yeah, I was really bullied when I was fat. So I was really focused on losing this weight. And then I did it. And then I made that goal. And I had so many problems in my life. I just relapsed, went right back to it.
Yeah.
Ballooned up to 250 pounds within a semester. And then after that, I realized that I was looking at it all in the wrong way. Like, had to focus not only on what I want at the moment or in long term, but I also have to focus on my life at this current situation.
Yeah.
So the next time I learned this, I was counting this weight. I was working on myself in academics, but I didn't let myself not have friends.
Yeah.
I didn't let myself not have that one night out.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go out and drink, I was able to do it. Have to look at it as not a punishment. It's just you're human. You have multiple things in your life you have to focus on. And I think if you're only targeting one specific thing, like I just said, you're going to be held back. So I think a problem that I think a lot of people experience, and I've experienced it this semester and probably I'm going to continue having this problem, is you fail to give yourself rewards or you over-reward yourself. Yeah. So I think there's a point where you could be very harsh to your body and then not give it any type of dopamine because you want to be locked in or whatever. And then there's also moments where you just, it's a party and do whatever you want. I think you have to find a good balance in life where you're able to work on yourself and work on what you're doing, but you're also focusing on other aspects of your life.
At the same time, the thing is, like, ultra successful people really sacrificed it all. I mean, they were in general, I would say most of them really sacrificed them all. And we always look up to these people, these ultra successful guys, and be like, oh, they have it so easy. Oh, it must be great. But they don't want to do what it took to be there. You know, if you'd actually frame it, I would say the majority of people wouldn't actually do the trade. I mean, most people want the view, but they don't want to make the climb.
I agree with that, but I think a problem when we view at all these ultra successful people is we're viewing it as success as a one type of in a single lens, right? Let's pull Elon Musk, for example, right? Yeah. We view this guy as such a successful guy. He's able to make he made so many businesses. He's renowned as a very smart guy. He worked for the U.S. government. Yeah. He was able to do all this. And then if you really look at him, what has he achieved outside of business? You know, like I feel like...
Wow. I mean, no, I really like Elon Musk, so I don't want to be...
I mean, I'm not to throw hate on the guy. Yeah. I think he's a great business guy, and he's definitely a smart individual. But I think something we fail to look at is success is not only a metric when in your income.
Yeah.
I think you could be successful in many aspects of your life.
No, 100%.
And then you have to view success as something holistic. And plus, the very interesting thing is my view of success is probably different than your view of success.
Everybody has their own definition. It's also important to be aware of that, to have that personal awareness and be like, this guy is focused on that, I'm focused on this. Our lives are going to be different. Our lives are going to look different, but that's okay. You know, you have to be aware of that. And I love this by Jimmy Carr, which says, everyone is jealous of what you've got. You know, you said everybody's jealous about what you've got, but not everyone is jealous about how you got there. Yeah. And that's like with Elon Musk, you know, everybody's jealous of being the CEO of all these amazing companies, but I don't know how many people would be willing to work as hard as he works.
Or sacrifice what he sacrificed. I mean, I'm sure his kids would like to see him more. I'm sure he would like to have some free time where he could take off a week of work, turn his phone off, and everything will be fine. And he's sacrificing it because that's something he values.
And it's his mission. I mean, he wants to make the world better, and that's pretty respectable. But it's also, as we said, I mean, focus, and everybody has their own definitions of success, and we all have to, you know, live with it. But it's also important to be able to adapt. You know, when I got here, I was pretty set and a lot strict with myself. I don't know what you think about that, but and then you start realizing, like, it's okay to adapt. It's okay to learn. It's okay to drop on previous beliefs. Not because you think that's the way. It necessarily is the way, because many times it's not even your own thought. You know, you probably heard it in a podcast or something like that. So
I think the ability to adapt is what sets people apart.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like getting uncomfortable is no one wants to be uncomfortable. So being able to adapt sucks. Because in theory, what being able to adapt is, I'm able to do this thing I don't want to do. I'm fearful of doing it, but I'm going to try it anyway. Yeah, and I'm going to adapt, and I'm going to try to make myself a better human being, even if at the moment I feel uncomfortable.
That's kind of also like willpower and discipline, I think. And it's a lot of neuroscientists even show this, that there's a part in the brain, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, which is the willpower part of the brain. And it basically grows when you do things you don't want to do. And you have to be repeatedly doing that. Like, it's just like any muscle, it atrophies if you stop doing it. But basically what it says, it's like, and like people like David Goggins have this massive part of that brain. And it's also important for our function, be able to go out, but also every day make sure you're doing something you're opposed to doing.
Yeah. I feel like the thing that makes us hard to adapt is we have this fear of saying no, of getting rejected. So
fear of failing.
Yeah, of failing, of rejecting, of not feeling good enough. So I think this is an advice I got from one of the best teachers I have, Mr. DeRuse. Shout out.
Shout out.
He told me I was very fearful when I was little. I didn't really like change because it was hard. It sucks. Yeah. So he told me, this is the best advice I ever got. Go out there every day and get rejected 10 times. Do something you know it's not going to happen 10 times.
What's something you do 10 times that... I mean, you saying like go with a girl you're not gonna get?
It doesn't need to be go with a girl. Just like you could go up to your friend, say some stupid shit like, "Oh, can I get your wallet?" It's probably gonna be a no. Yeah. And then you're gonna notice, rejection's not that bad.
Yeah, you think you're gonna die, but at the end of the day, it's that's something good to practice. I would say that's great.
You have to practice being comfortable with a no.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody wants to be a yes, wants to get everything settled. Yeah. You have to be comfortable with not having things go the way you want.
And also, stop fearing about what other people think. This goes back to the beginning of the reason I started this podcast. And it's like, okay, I want to start this podcast. Why not start it? Is it because people will say some shit? Like, I don't really care. Nobody really, nobody wants it more than you, right? And it's also like, there's this quote, you've probably heard it, seen it on TikTok, but I really love, it's probably basic, but I really love what it's like, we have two lives, and the second one begins when we realize we only have one.
I mean, I agree with that quote. I think it's pretty cliche, but it makes sense.
It's cliche, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, we're only gonna, you don't know if you're gonna die tomorrow. I mean, you could die from a heart attack. I mean, touch wood, but you never know, right? So live your life as if it's your last day.
I think you have to live your life as if it was your last day, and also be able to understand what you're willing to compromise. Yeah. I think understanding what you're able or want to give up is very important. So we're having this debate currently about moving to the next apartment. What are we able to compromise?
I mean, it's what's the price you want to pay? I mean, not in terms of monetary, but it's like, what is the price you're actually willing to pay? Okay, you want to live with your friends? Are you willing to sacrifice having a shittier bathroom or something like that? So that's all about how you think about it, honestly.
So I think that's a problem about a lot of people is you're not really able to understand how much you're willing to sacrifice. Yeah. So for example, for me, it's a good sacrifice to not have a perfect GPA, but have a very balanced social life in college or in high school, and that was throughout. So for me, it's more valuable to have a good time, to be able to be social and have all these things and have a shittier GPA or focus less on
the academics. Yeah, and it's also there's different sides to it. There's the academic capital, being smart and stuff, but there's also the social capital, having connections and stuff like that.
I mean, I feel like people view their GPA as their only way to get a job, and I think it's way more likely you're going to get a job from someone you met than 100%. You're going to get a job because your GPA is outstanding.
Yeah, GPA is nothing. And this comes from someone with 4.0 GPA, and I say it's fucking nothing. Honestly. It's just a piece of paper. And if you look at it from bird's eye view, we're in this planet, right? And you're caring about this number in a piece of paper, it doesn't really make no difference. And I'd even argue, you could make the case that the people with a 3.7 are better than the people with a 4. Why? Because they're able to still perform while not really caring about being perfect,
I was talking to my dad about this, and then, sure, the GPA is a filter, but at the end of the day, the guy you're going to hire is the guy that sits down in the interview and is is more willing to give you the most. Yeah. And that's not necessarily something academic. The guy you most interact with, the guy you most socialize with.
That's not something you learn in class.
That's not something you're learning in your physics lecture.
Yeah, and it's like, if you really think about it, if you look at it as a business owner, who'd you rather have? Would you rather have the perfect 4.0 guy, I don't know, perfect SAT score or whatever? Or do you want the guy who maybe has a 3.2 GPA but gets it done? Gets the job done no matter what.
I mean, I think you have to view life from many perspectives, right? So if you just focus on the GPA, your business probably won't succeed if that's all the bases you're hiring. If you're only focusing on the social aspect, probably not going to succeed.
Yeah, you probably have just a frat like you.
Yeah, you have to take a balance into everything you view. Nothing is black and white. Yeah. And I think as you move on in your life, you start to learn these things. That
you start to value the different things, honestly.
Black and white is not a thing, except in a movie.
Except in a movie.
So...
Not even movies have colors now.
I know, but I feel like we want to view everything as yes or no, and I think pretty much every decision you make is not a yes or no question.
Yeah. It's not a binary question. Like it's not a yes or no. Yeah.
It's not like, oh, did you wake up today? Yeah, that's a black and white.
Yeah, that's a black and white question.
But outside of those very simple questions in life, nothing is black and white.
Nothing is black. And it's like the deeper questions. I mean, let me hit you with the deep question.
Go ahead.
What's the meaning of life?
I guess it's personal for me, but I think the meaning of life is being able to be successful in all the aspects of life I value. Yeah. So for me, that would be being a good guy, being a good man, working on my body, prioritizing myself, but also prioritizing the people I love and care for.
That's a great answer.
So that's how I view the meaning of life. Yeah. To me, I think financial success or academic success will always be inferior to me than being a better human being.
Yeah, I love that. And how much does that meaning of, or does your meaning of life change as you? How much has it changed? Let's say in the past 5 years.
I think it's changed significantly. Yeah. I mean, don't even go back 5 years. Go at the beginning of your college. Yeah. I think I had a very skewed perspective of my world because I lived in a bubble back home. Yeah. I think now that I'm able to interact with more people from different walks of life,
widen your lens,
Yeah, I think I've learned to value that success and the meaning of my life is not only, okay, I'm going to have a Fortune 500 company, hopefully, or I'm going to work to be the richest guy in the room. I think now my meaning of life is much more about a personal goal that I'm trying to be the best human being I can be.
Yeah, and that's a great one, and I think I kind of had a similar realization in progress, and it's what I've came up with is you are successful when you can die today, and you've done everything you've wanted to do, or you're good, right? You don't die with no regrets.
I mean, yeah, I think we're always worried about what other people will say, and I think you start regretting. And then I think the best thing you could do is don't regret anything you do in your life. Whatever you do it to the fullest.
No, that's something I love, and that's something you've showed me, where it's like, okay, it doesn't matter if you fail, it doesn't matter if you do a bad decision, but don't half-ass it.
Yeah, so let's go to something that a lot of, especially guys, can relate to, right? You go up to the bar, you're in class, whatever, you see this girl you really like. Yeah. I would say 95% of the people will never have the balls to go up to her and say hello. And then out of the 5% that do, after she says a single no or she's not really vibing with you, you would be either psychologically fucked and try to get this girl whatever 100%, or then just leave defeated. Yeah. Instead of viewing it as not. This is a thing I learned. Not all good decisions have a positive outcome. So
definitely.
So learning to understand that if you get rejected, it might have not had a positive outcome. No, but it doesn't mean it was not a good decision.
That's something Trinidad literally said last podcast, which is the virtue of a decision is not defined by its outcome.
Yeah, I think we all want to think that a good decision is only something that turns out positive.
Yeah. A bad decision you could have gotten lucky and gotten the girl.
You could have done terrible decisions. Yeah.
You could have said some weird shit and you still
and that would have probably been a bad decision.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think we're very fearful of thinking that if the outcome is negative, was not the right decision.
Yeah, and it's like that's kind of like how I've had this wonderful relationship with my girlfriend for like 2 years now. And it's like, well, how did it all start? All of this 2 years, it all started from like one message, right? You don't like all of a sudden wake up and you have this wonderful relationship. So it's just that like initial slide into the DMs.
So I think you have to learn how to start. That you have to have the ability to push yourself to start, and also the ability to know that even if it doesn't succeed, it was not a bad idea to do.
It's like starting a podcast. If it doesn't fucking succeed, it's like I still tried. I still gave it my all, and
and you learned from it.
Yeah, and I can I just want to rest assured that I gave it my all.
Yeah, I agree.
If you did everything in your power to do it, then it's not a failure.
I mean, I think we view success. I think we view failures and success as such a one-sided metric.
But I've also
on what we're getting for our own selfish selves. I think we also have to view success as like, what else am I bringing to the world that is going to give value to someone else?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You have to think about yourself when you're doing your decisions, but when you look at the outcome, you have to think of others because everything you do is going to affect someone else.
Yeah, 100%. But also to add on to the point where I said. Regarding giving 100%, I mean, I've also never seen someone give 100% of their effort and fail. Like, that's just not a thing, If you actually give 100%, there's no way you fail.
But I also feel like if you give 100% to just one thing, you're failing in other aspects of your
100%.
life.
I mean,
so I like revisiting what I just said, like, if you only focus on one thing in your life, you're failing at other aspects of your life. And then holistically, if you just view yourself from an outside perspective, how much are you really winning when you only focus on one thing?
Give me an example of like your own life or like of a person you've seen where it's like, you don't got to name drop them, but it's like they're focusing on something and they're sacrificing something.
So, yeah, I mean, this, you're probably going to get this one. So there's a guy in college I've met, and, he's super hyper-focused on academics and trying to better himself and the gym and sleeping, eating perfectly, right? And then he forgets all about his social life and his social aspects. And I know why you're laughing because you know this human being. Yeah. And then you're failing to think of other aspects of your life that you're going to value after college while you're only focusing on one thing. I mean, he's a very successful guy. So 4.0 GPA. He's doing great in the gym.
I think he even has a podcast.
Yeah, something like that.
No, but yeah, I mean.
You might be hyper-focused on one thing, but then you're failing to... And then you saw it yesterday. I took you out, and then you had a blast.
Yeah, no, and I also feel like, look...
And I get it. If your life is not going out every weekend, that's fine. But you enjoyed going out from time to time. So I feel like you have to be able to reward yourself with other aspects of your life, even if it's not 100% of the time, even if it's only momentarily, have to be able to accept those moments and go with them.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, and that's something I've really started to try to do. It's maybe not the going out specifically. Yeah. That's not the thing that changes, but it's also rewarding yourself.
Yeah, you have to. At the end of the day, if you don't reward yourself, no one will. You can't ask others to reward you. If you're seeking rewards from other people, you're going to be unhappy. Like
if you're also attaching like your self-worth to other people, you're going to be unhappy.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're the only person that can view your own worth, and the only person who knows what they've worked for.
Yeah.
You know the amount of work you put into something. You know what type of reward you deserve from it.
Yeah. But the same thing, it's like we value things based on the struggle, If everybody would be walking around with a six-pack, would it have any value?
It won't.
And not necessarily that. If there was like a pill and everybody had that pill, take it, have a six-pack, it wouldn't have any value because you didn't really work towards that. But it's also like if you actually get a six-pack, reward yourself like with a donut or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kind of starting to believe into that, and I'm starting to give into that.
So there's this idea that, for example, when you're in a diet, you can't eat any sweet treats.
Yeah.
But if you were to have a breakfast, you were to go to Krispy Kreme, get a glazed donut and a black coffee, and that's all you had for breakfast, you're still going to be under your maintenance calories.
Yeah.
Because you're focused. So you don't have to punish yourself for success. It's not a right about, you have to do this, and that to be able to do it.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's like, okay, you're going to have to work towards something, but why do you have to keep whipping yourself into submission. Like,
I mean, there's so many paths to success in anything you do. Regardless of what you're focusing on, there's so many paths to success that I feel like if you just view it at everything one-sidedly or with one path or with one determined look, you're failing to understand your problem, and then you're failing to get to a solution.
if I could go back and change something, and that's the one thing I'd change, and it'd be like, I do everything I wouldn't change a thing, but I would do it with more love. I'd do it with a smile, you know. Why? You don't gain anything from doing it like all pissed, I don't care about nothing. I only care about, like, you know, you don't gain nothing from that. So that's something really special, being able to reward yourself. And that's like,
I mean, I think we as humans are overly hard on each other.
Yeah.
So you probably, your biggest fan is yourself, and your biggest hater is also yourself. So I was seeing this quote by John Cena, which surprisingly very interesting. So he has this pocket watch, which in one side says you're good enough, you're whatever, and then in the other side says keep your ego in check. Yeah. Something along those lines. Yeah. So at the same time, you're your best friend and your biggest villain.
But that's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah. So I think we fail to understand when we're going to be our friends and when we're going to be our villains instead of just being a pal.
You have like this two like sides, you know, your angel side, your demon side, like talking to you like work harder, you know, like no, like you're not gonna eat that cookie, and then the other one like you deserve a cookie. But like, where do you draw that line? You know,
I think you have to take both of your personal perspectives into account and be like, okay, let's say this example of this meal, this cookie, this imaginary cookie I want to eat. One side here is you got to lock in, you're in a cut, whatever. You shouldn't eat the cookie. Other side, you're in the cookie, you've worked for it, you've been on a cut like for a solid amount of time. So these two views are completely opposing of each other.
But honestly, I still feel like that you're locked in. That's the correct side.
So both views are completely opposite of each other, right? One is telling you to do it, one is telling you not to. So I think a very big part of growth is being able to, okay, I have these two ideas, these two perspectives, but I can work with both. Yeah. You know, it might not be, okay, I'm going to eat the whole cookie. You know, I could get a bite. I love that. I could get half of the cookie.
I love that.
And then part of me, I'm getting rewarded. And then part of me, okay, I'm still locking in.
So it's like both of those worlds are happy.
You have to be able to compromise with yourself.
Yeah, and negotiate also, like, with yourself. I mean, it's also, as you said, what are you willing to sacrifice, you know?
I mean, you have to be able to negotiate what you value in the moment, but you also have to be able to negotiate your happiness.
But you also need to be strict with your core mission.
Yeah, you have to be strict with your core values and beliefs and not bend them. I think at the end of the day, that's all you are. Your own personal core values and beliefs. And if you're able to fold those and manipulate those for personal achievement, I think you're really not achieving anything. But then outside of those core beliefs, you have to be able to modify what you're doing or the plan you're doing or the way you're doing it. So,
and I love that because it's like if you have you could achieve, like, I think one way to really make sure you achieve your goals is setting like a finish line. You need to set a finish line. You got to set up, okay, this happens. Because let's say you say, I just want, let's say hypothetically, you're like, I just want to make money, right?
Yep.
You're never going to end. It's impossible to be like, I want to make money, and you won't succeed because you don't have something in sight. You don't have to, and on the other side, if you said, I want to make $10,000, it's like, okay, this sounds a little more achievable. And once you make that 10,000, stop, reward yourself, maybe go for 100 now.
I think also a big problem is being able to set the proper goal.
Yeah.
So I think there's these two big ideas I think most people view it is a lot of short goals or one long one.
Yeah.
But I think when we view these short goals, which are reasonably obtainable, right? Let's say the money thing.
Yeah.
So you have a goal. I'm going to make $10,000. Yeah. Okay, you achieve it, and then you're going to be like, okay, that was not that bad. Okay, let's try for 100, and then you're gonna make it to 100, and then when you're at 100, you're gonna be like, okay, let's go to 250K, $500,000, and then you're gonna and then you have all these short goals. When you're completing them, you're getting all this dopamine, this rush, but then you're not able to learn how to stop. And then you also have these long goals. Let's say I want to make $1 million. Yeah. And you don't have a path to success. I think you have to be able to work with your short goals and long goals. Yeah. At the end of the day, you have to establish what's the finish line, but you also have to establish checkpoints. Yeah. So I think we view it as one or the other. I think we have to integrate those two together to be able to actually reach our goals.
Yeah, you need to have both. I mean, the best goal is one that balances both, you know? And I also think when you're going towards a goal, it's easy to get distracted and forget about what was your initial goal. You always have to have that in mind. Why did I start doing this?
I mean, yeah, and you also have to understand that short-term success might be a long-term failure, or a long-term success might be failure in the short term. So I think you have to be able to understand these two perspectives, to have a goal you're trying to reach, and then you also have to understand that how am I reaching it might not be perfect, but if I'm being able to do it and it's not being harmful to myself or to anyone else, it's probably okay.
Yeah, I love that.
So I want to ask you a question now.
Right.
So I was thinking about this recently, about jealousy when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
What do you think defines leader?
I think you asked me this the other day in the gym.
Yeah, I've posed this question before, and
I loved your answer, but okay, I'm gonna say what I believe is a good leader, and I think a good leader is one that makes the other people better versions of themselves.
And would you say a leader has a limitation?
I believe a true leader is okay with his student being better than him.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was exactly what I was going to say.
That's what you were going to say?
So I think that we're also, when we're looking at ourselves in perspective and we're trying to help out others, we're always trying to be like, oh, I'm going to help this guy.
Yeah.
As long as he's a little bit less successful than me.
You always want the other guy to be well off, but not better off than you.
You want everyone to be the most successful people in the world.
Yeah.
As long as they're less successful than you.
Literally. Well, I guess you want your friends to be the most successful. You want your friends to be the richest person in the world, as long as you're number one.
Yeah. You want to be like, oh, I want this guy to be a billionaire, as long as I'm richer than him.
Yeah, no.
Or I want this guy to be jacked in the gym, as long as I can lift more.
Yeah.
So I think when we work on ourselves and balancing our life, we have to take away jealousy from it.
You also need to stop comparing yourself to others.
I think you're in a competition with yourself, and inevitably yourself is competing with others. And it's an actual thing. Like, you are competing against the guy next to you with that GPA and for the job. But I think you're also, when you're competing against yourself, you get these jealousies, and then you want to be all these other things. I think you have to be able to focus on not being jealous.
Yeah. And
I think that's one of the best life skills you could ever have. Focusing on just my own success, my own metrics, and pushing others to be better versions of themselves, even if that means they'll surpass me.
And I'd even say that makes you a better version of yourself. That actually takes you to the next level.
I think that's so great. I think when we're balancing how to help people, we're always thinking like, oh, I'm going to help this guy, but I don't want him to do better than me. And then when we're balancing these ideas of helping, we fail to understand that if you're truly wanting to help someone, you're willing to see them in a better place than where you are at. So I think that's another thing about balancing.
And I would even go as far as saying that's the definition of a good friend.
Yeah.
No, but definitely, I mean, stop comparing yourself to others. And I want to kind of switch the tone a little bit, because I see you as a pretty happy person, right? I see you full of joy every day. You're always with a smile.
Thanks.
And I think that's one of the best compliments you could get.
I definitely agree with that.
But do you think happiness is something to chase? Do you think is happiness a goal?
I think when you chase happiness, you will never reach it. So I think I learned this a long time ago when I was in a pretty dark state of mind. And I think when you chase happiness, you're neglecting all the other emotions, and they will eventually catch up to you like a bitch. Trust me, that train, the way that train will hit you. Oh my God. So I think I've learned it throughout my years. Like, if I want to cry, I'll fucking cry. If I want to be depressed, I'll be depressed. If I want to be pissed, I want to be pissed. And when you're able to live through your whole palette of emotions, you're able to realize that most of the time you're going to be happy.
Yeah, and I also think, look.
And then when you also realize that small things shouldn't really piss you off or tick off, then you're really going to understand that, if I only focus on the really important things in my life, and then if I have these little struggles when I want to be pissed, mad, angry, whatever, and most of the other things are good, I can be happy. And then you also have to view it as your perspective. And going back to the jealousy part, you can't be jealous about others. So I think that's the biggest killer of happiness. Comparison is the killer of all joy. This is a quote.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, you've heard this all your life, right? So this is the way to steal all your happiness, but it's not. I mean, you can compare yourself as long as you understand that comparing yourself and not viewing what it brings. I mean, I could compare myself to you, but as long as I compare myself to you, and at the end of the day, I'm happy with where I'm at, it's going to be okay. But how are you going to be happy when you're comparing yourself? That is such a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So
happiness is the byproduct of many things.
I mean, happiness is not a thing you should seek.
Yeah, no.
I don't think you should seek happiness.
You shouldn't seek pleasure. And I love what you said about feeling emotions. We were talking about this yesterday, right? And you said...
Yeah, so I think for most guys, if I tell you, when was the last time you cried, you would say something canonic, a crazy
I'd say
event.
like 3 years.
Okay, my parent died, my dog died, someone important left me. But you would never cry for something petty like, oh, I failed an exam. And then I think...
but that's kind of like... I know you ain't crying
I'm not crying over that. Yeah, but there's some things in my life I want to cry over, and then I just cry them out. And you know what? I feel every single time.
That's actually true bravery.
Every single time I do it, I feel better about myself.
But that's actually true bravery. I'd say, like, being a man or be like a true masculine man is not one that avoids his emotion, but rather goes through them.
I think the biggest idea of masculinity we have been put about it. You have to be tough. You have to always have a smile. You can't show emotion, whatever. Who told us that was the best way to live?
That's not. I'd say society today and modern society has really twisted the definition of a true masculine man. I think that's why they've started to push the narrative of masculinity is bad. But because we're taking bad examples of masculine men.
I mean, what makes it feminine to cry? At the end of the day, we're both human beings, right? Yeah. We're also, matter of fact, to anyone in that red pill content space, if you want to debate this,
hit me up.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. No,
okay, I'm gonna take their side. Okay, I'm gonna take their side.
Take their side. Like, think about it. Oh, I'm not gonna cry about this. I'm gonna be all stoic and shit.
No, but I'm telling you, you have the definition of stoicism wrong.
I mean,
that's
so define stoic. Define being stoic.
I mean, I'd say being stoic is focusing on what you can't control and not worrying about the things you can't control. So, what a stoic would do is not cry. A stoic is not someone who doesn't cry, but doesn't cry about the things that are out of his control.
I get that, but I also I also understand that even if something's out of my control, for example,
if it's rainy out,
think about it. For example, you applied to a bunch of universities, whatever. There was nothing you could control about it once you sent in the paper. Yeah, and then you got an accepted for some place, and you were happy. And then you got rejected to another place, and you were sad. There was nothing you could control in that equation.
I mean, there's something. There is nothing. That's a bad example.
There was nothing you could control of it after you sent that application.
Okay, but it's you could have controlled the thing before. I mean, I truly believe, and like everything good and everything bad that happens to me is my fault. And I think that's a great way of going through life.
I agree. I mean,
if something bad happens to you, you start blaming others.
I mean,
you're not growing.
I think blaming others is a terrible mistake, but I think also understanding that you're okay to feel emotions when things that you can't control don't go your way or don't benefit you. So what do you? Okay, but I'm not saying, oh, cry me a puddle, I
know you don't fail a college exam and go to cry. I've seen you fail and go out to party that like 2 hours later.
Yeah, but you also don't have to see it like, okay, because that was something I could control. Right? Let's say I applied for a job and I didn't get it. Right. There was nothing I could control about it from the interview. I might have not the interview might have not liked me just for
you could have been just in a bad day.
By the second he read my name. You see, you know, Santi had this interview, right? And this guy was like, oh, calculus is not your thing. He could control that. But at the end of the day, he couldn't control that. The guy was pissed off during the interview.
Yeah. He couldn't control it. He probably had a bad day.
Yeah. He couldn't control it. But at the end of the day, he could have been sad that he didn't get the job.
But I mean, you have to be stoic to go through that because life happens.
I'm not saying be an emotional crybaby. I'm just saying that if you want to feel, you should be able to feel. But if you shouldn't be scared to feel what your body is feeling.
But I don't love the idea of feel more. Like you're telling men to feel more.
I'm
to
not
cry
saying.
more.
I'm not saying feel
I think
more.
that creates violent men because look, if you focus on what you're feeling, right? I feel mad. I'm gonna punch this. No, you have to have some self-restraint. You need to be able to control those emotions and sometimes silence those emotions because
I think
being let's say you're a father.
I think when you silence them, they build up, right?
Okay.
I think you should be able to feel them, understand them. I think that's the most important thing. You have to feel them, understand them, but you have to stay in control.
So what do you think is...
Once you lose the control over yourself, that's when you're gone.
What do you think is... You talked about the red pill side of whatever. Yeah. What do you think that's the biggest thing they get wrong about masculinity?
I think the biggest thing that they get wrong is that men should only focus on being providers. They shouldn't feel emotions, and they shouldn't have a problem with and they should only be correct. You should be a provider. Your woman shouldn't do certain things. I think when we view it that way, like, let's say I met someone tomorrow and I couldn't control her past, but she could probably control her future. So me pinning something on her would be fucking hypocritical.
But I mean, would you say it's bad then to have some standards about
I'm not saying it's bad to have standards on the past, but I think what a lot of guys are, and let's say for you having sex with 50 girls, oh, what a stud! You'd be the fucking shit. But if you saw,
let's say another guy.
But if you saw a guy,
a girlfriend,
but let's say you saw a guy have sex with 100 women, you'd be like, oh, what a stud! Oh, he's such a guy. And then you saw a girl that met, let's say, not 100 guys. She had sex with 10. I know a bunch of you guys would be like, oh, she's for the street. And you're having more bodies than this girl. How can you be hypocritical about it? What, is she not able to have fun? She's not able to enjoy life just because you're a man?
I mean, I think you've set a pretty cherry-picked example,
but there's so many
pretty controversial example.
But there's so many other ways. There's so many things it's presented by.
But honestly, it's also like, okay, it's really dangerous to tell people and men, particularly men, to feel more if they don't know what to do with those feelings.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think something that men fail at because from a very young age they're told not to feel is that they don't know how to handle their own emotions.
So would you agree with?
I think the biggest thing you could learn in life, especially as a young male, is learning how to control your own emotions.
Yeah, and I think that's the name of the game. Being on top of your emotion. It's the problem isn't the emotion. It's a lack of discipline over your emotions.
Yeah.
And do you agree with this? Okay, you have that side of feeling. I have this side of being controlled. But I think the true Goldilocks zone, the true perfect optimal zone is men shouldn't suppress their emotions outright, right? No. But they also shouldn't be ruled by them.
I agree. So, but I feel that's not only for men. That's for any human being.
That's for women. I mean, that's if you're a girl, you're a woman, whatever.
Anyone should be able to feel their emotions, but not be controlled by them.
I feel like
it's okay to be mad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to do all these things as long as you're not controlled by them.
Yeah, and I think it's also like society has realized the importance of letting men feel more.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, you could make the argument towards feeling more, whatever, opening up. But it's like society is telling us, women and women and men alike, to open up more, which is great. I mean, it's good. But what happens after that? Nobody tells you what to do and how to deal with those emotions.
But I think that's going back to the point about balance.
Yeah.
I told you're not born knowing what to do with anything. You weren't born knowing how to walk, I said. You weren't born knowing how to speak, whatever, but you tried. You fucked up. You learned. Because that's what happens. You learn from your fuck-ups. Yeah. So if you're fearful of not experiencing these emotions, you will never learn what to do with them.
But it's also like you have to have some level of standards and some level of...
Yeah, you have to
you are a reflection.
But you would never get those standards if you've never experienced it.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100%. But it's also like... Yeah, I know. There's no perfect plan to anything. Life is built upon the fuck-ups. I agree with that. But it's also like... You have to have some level of control, I think the main thing that fucking up teaches you is to not fuck up again.
Yeah, and that's something you learn when you fuck up or you get rejected.
Yeah.
You learn what you can and what you can't do.
And you also need to know your limits.
You have to know your limits, but
Yeah.
you also have to love yourself while testing yourself out.
Yeah. So what would you say is like the key to happiness?
So for me, at least in my personal lens, is you have to learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
While you fuck up, while things that aren't going the way that.
So walk me through how that works. So it's like fuck up.
So
you fuck up, and it's like, oh, I'm
So for me, let's point this thing that every single guy or girl has happened to. You get rejected by your crush, right?
Yeah.
You didn't fuck up. You didn't succeed.
Yeah.
But you still have to be happy with yourself. Not because this person doesn't want to be with me.
100%.
Do I need to be sad?
Don't bring yourself down.
Or let's say, okay, I failed the test. Not because I failed this test, I'm a miserable human being. I'm worth nothing.
But it's also like
you have to learn to love yourself while you get mistakes. Because if you don't love yourself while you're doing it, you're never gonna grow.
But talk to me about that crush thing. I mean, I know you've probably seen a lot of that stuff with the frat.
Yeah,
hanging out with sorority.
Yeah, you hang out with women, whatever, and you know, everyone wants to conquer the world, right? Yeah. You're not gonna do it. Let me tell you. There's always gonna be someone that doesn't like you, and
there's always a pledge who feels like he's gonna come in and be.
I mean,
the LeBron James.
LeBron James of fraternity. Yeah, I mean, I for example, this is something I've learned from the frat that everyone has an ego.
Yeah,
everyone has an ego, and everyone's ego is eventually gonna break.
Yeah, when
it gets broken, don't let that shit pop. Not because your ego was hurt or damaged, you should explode.
Yeah.
You shouldn't go on this rage fit, or you should throw a tantrum. Learn to love yourself while life is going on. Because let me tell you, there's going to be a bunch of people in your life. They're going to tell you you're not good enough, you can't do this, you're going to get rejected, you're going to do a bunch of things. If you let that shit affect you in a negative way, you're gonna lose so much more than you're ever gonna get from.
You're never going to reach your goals.
You're never gonna reach success.
You got to pick yourself back up, man. Yeah, that's what we were talking about in the beginning. It's like you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, "I fucked up. I'm gonna do it again."
Yeah, if you don't pick yourself back up, at the end of the day, the only guy who's going to be there for you all the time is yourself.
I mean, you talked a lot about, going for your crush and being happy.
Yeah, but that's just a general example. It could have been from your dream job.
But I have a follow-up question with that one. It's like you've told probably a lot of college guys listening to this right now, and you've told them, don't be sad if your crush rejects them, right? But you haven't told them how to actually get your crush. So what would you say is like the key to like...
I would say there's a very thin line between perseverance and being a very creepy guy. All right, so
what do you mean by that?
So, and this goes for girls and guys too, right? Although some people might be playing hard to get, you have to understand something. Not everyone in your life is gonna like you, and you should not be a creep while doing so.
I think.
And I'm not saying it from personal experience.
No, I think you are, though.
No.
You're being a little too specific.
I've seen a lot of people be very overly flirty or overly whatever, where people would clearly want nothing to do with you. Let that shit die. You gotta let that shit die.
Let that shit die.
I mean, someone else will be there. Yeah. Someone else will be in that corner. Even if this human actually likes you, you should prioritize yourself. You shouldn't be someone else's punching bag.
Yeah, but I think the thing with that is, don't ever put your crush above yourself.
Yeah. Always put yourself above.
So you can't be everything. Begging a random.
You can't be begging and choosing. Not even she could have been your girlfriend for 7 years, 20. You could have been married for your whole life. At the end of the day, you have to put yourself first. Sometimes in some situations, it's okay to put other people first. But in the grand scheme of things, in the majority of things you're doing in your life, you should always put yourself first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like. And the sad thing about...
And I think right now with society, everybody wants to be so politically correct. And everyone wants to be like, oh, such a helping hand. Yeah. Oh, I'm prioritizing you. But at the end of the day, they're not putting themselves first.
Yeah, and I think...
Or by doing so, you should also think about it. If someone is so willing to help you and not help themselves, are they really helping you? Think about it. Because it's so easy to put someone else before you that you forget what you're meant to do.
But like, you have to do it for you. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's coming to save you. Not because you did something good for others.
No one will ever. Not because you helped. Trust me, not because you did someone a favor, they're going to do that favor.
It's like, if you want a girl, nobody's going to talk to that girl for you.
No one's going to go up to her at the bar and be like, yeah, this is my boy.
This is my boy.
That
never works.
Yeah, this is the boy over here. You should definitely go.
No, it's like, this is my guy, Brian. And then she looks over and you're like, yo.
Yeah, and then you're going to stand there quiet being like, oh, yeah, this is going to happen. No, it's not going to happen.
No, it always goes like,
this
is my boy, Brian. And you'll be like, yeah.
You have to take initiative. Yeah. You have to take initiative for things you want. And that goes for anything you do. Yeah. Then you also have to prioritize yourself when you're doing it. So let's say I really want this and it could succeed, whatever, but I'm hurting myself while doing so. Then you don't really want that. Yeah. You have to put yourself in a place where you won't end up worse off than when you got there.
Yeah, and it's also like, how bad do you want it?
I mean, it should be, how bad would you want it? I hate that quote. It should be, how much are you willing to sacrifice?
But that's kind of like the same
It's
thing.
not the same thing. It sounds very similar because how much do you want it is...
No, how much do you want it? That basically says, how much are you willing to sacrifice?
I think when you put yourself in how much are you willing to sacrifice, you switched it over. And now it's not a take, it's a give.
Yeah.
You're able to view it in a different lens, in a different perspective, because when you're giving, it's so much harder to give away. Yeah. Think about it. How easy is it to get money into your wallet? Oh, you want to take it all. How easy it is to take it away. Oh, I don't want to spend. I don't want. It's the same with life. It's so easy to want to take. How much you want? I'm taking. But once you switch that perspective, how much am I willing to give to be in a certain position or be a certain person? And then that really changes your perspective. And then that should really affect the way you balance your life, or the things you prioritize, or the things you put above others.
Yeah, 100%. But and it's also like the harsh truth about life. It's like a zero-sum game. You know, whatever. That's like, you have to look at life as you have your pie, right?
Yeah.
And you can't assume you can just add more things onto it, do more. If you want to add something, something's got to go. That's the truth. I mean, you could spend less time on your phone and whatever, but I think we'd all be better off if we've looked at life. Let's say you want to start meditating, right? Yeah. You need to give something up, you know? And that's
the same thing with everything. And that's going to be, let's say, you have to wake up 30 minutes earlier so you can still fit in the rest of your...
You got to sacrifice some amount of sleep.
I mean... You have to sacrifice. I think also a thing we have as humans is we like to keep score. We like to keep score on ourselves. And I think when we realize that life is not a game, and there's not a
finish line.
There's not a scoreboard at the end of the day saying, oh, Pato made 10,000 points and over here did 5K. Oh, Pato's so much better. No, at the end of the day, it's you. It's your own game. And then the only person that is going to keep score on you is yourself. So don't.
And I guess... The only way to win in this game is do things your 80-year-old self would be happy you did today.
Yeah, I don't think your 80-year-old self, because you never know when this shit's gonna.
Or like, well, you don't know when you die. I guess when you're in your deathbed or whatever.
Yeah. You don't. This boat ride is not.
Yeah. There's not. Yeah. It could be done tomorrow, man.
I could leave this building and I could just be stroking dead. Yeah. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. Yeah, no. But it could happen. Like nothing is guaranteed in life. So don't beat yourself too hard for anything.
So look, if that's the case, it's something we were struck by lightning as we walk out. The one thing I want the audience to keep with is go for something. Like go for something. You're never gonna feel that level of rush and adrenaline. Like you've probably felt it with football. Like when you work towards something, you really give it your 100%, and you do it. That feeling, man, like, you don't get from nothing else.
So this is what I believe. So I think you shouldn't keep anything stored down. If you're gonna love, you're gonna love. If you're gonna have fun, you're gonna have fun. If you're gonna enjoy, you're gonna enjoy. If you want to cry, you should cry. But you shouldn't be held back because of what other people think. Because at the end of the day, the only person who's gonna cry at your own funeral are people that in a couple of years might not even be there with you, and then no one's gonna remember that. So the only thing you have is your own thoughts and your personal perspective, and you should share it with other people.
And this connects to the thing of doing whatever you want to do without taking into account what other people will say, because we are all gonna die. Yeah, we're all going to be forgotten.
At the end of the day,
nothing really fucking matters that much.
At the end of the day, probably your grandkid is not going to remember you had a podcast.
I hope he does.
I mean, hopefully he does. Hopefully he does. But at the end of the day,
let's do something different.
But at the end of the day, your kid's not going to remember your calculus exam. You're not going to remember it. So you shouldn't be stressing about things that don't
matter in the grand scheme of things.
So there was this professor, and I saw it on TikTok. So he had a bunch of ping pong balls, sand, and little marbles, right? And he had this container, right? And he first put the sand first in ones, the sand first, then the marbles, and then these ping pong balls. He added them, and they fell off. Yeah. They couldn't stay in the jar. It was overflowing. Right. But then he redid it. He grabbed the same jar, same amount of things. He grabbed the ping pong balls first, the big things, the things that you should really care about, the things that matter in the grand scheme of things, the things you're actually going to take to
first.
The things that actually matter. You put those first. Then you add those little marbles, try to squeeze those in. And then those little grains of sand that are important for today but tomorrow are going to be worthless. Yeah. You add them in and you shake them around.
Sprinkle them in.
You shake them in and they're all going to fit into the same jar.
But all of them make your life.
That's why I didn't say don't add them. Yeah. Did I say take them away? No, you added them. But you put those at the end. You prioritize the big things, the things that matter. Prioritize the things that are going to bring you long-term happiness or long-term success. Don't only think about the things that are going to be instant gratification.
Don't think about what will, because a lot of times
I'm not saying neglect them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, great, I went to a party yesterday. In the grand scheme of things, how is that going to be good for me? Probably not.
Probably not.
But I enjoyed it.
You'd probably be better off today if you'd probably be less hangover.
But I enjoyed it, and it was still worth it because it was something that was meaningful in my life. But I'm never going to be like, oh, have this very important thing I have to do. Let's say I have this test I have to take, which is actually important for my future, and I have this party. Ping pong ball over the sand. Have to learn what is more important, and you have to learn to prioritize.
You could also do both. I mean, nobody's saying
no one is saying that you can't focus on school and in your social life. But I also
feel like school is not the be all end.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a saying. Yeah. You have to focus on all the aspects of your life, but you have to learn to prioritize
and feel more. Definitely.
Yeah.
So your main.
These are the main takeaways I want people to, if they're watching it, get from me. Yeah. At least on today's podcast. So I think you have to learn to prioritize what is most valuable in your life, and you have to focus on the big things. Yeah. And then you have to be able to feel and learn from your own emotions. Yeah. Be able to cry, be able to learn, and then that's how you're going to be truly happy. And then this is the most important thing. At the end of the day, your success is only measured by you. So focus on yourself, and the person you should be the most worried about is yourself.
Awesome.
Hey, I appreciate you having me. Yeah. Hopefully I'm able to be here another time. Yeah. It was great. It was great being here.
One last question, Brian.
Go ahead.
Because I ask everybody in this podcast, and it's a homework I'll leave you guys again. And it's, what would need to happen for you to call 2026 a success? New Year's comes by. You're in a New Year's.
So it's going to be 2027. What would I have to make it to be a success? I think at the current place I'm doing,
doesn't it have to be something?
Yeah. I think for it to be a success, it has to be a year where I enjoyed myself, I had fun, I learned, and at this point, it's being such a success.
Awesome.
I think this is a great quote. I mean, it's in Spanish, but I'm going to try to translate it as every year I wish for the things to be the same or better. So at the moment, things are better than last year. So for me, this year's already being a success.
You already won.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for all of this.